Welcome to African Folktales by Delight, where African stories come alive.
One generation to another. Stories of destinies twisted by unseen hands, patterns that return like a stubborn shadow, and blessings locked away by actions long forgotten. And sometimes, without warning, the quiet household of an unsuspecting family becomes the ground where ancient battles resurface. This is the story of such a household. For many years, a strange sorrow lived quietly behind the beautiful walls of a certain home in the city. Neighbors saw the laughter. Visitors admired the well-arranged furniture. Friends praised the unity between husband and wife. But deep inside, beneath the polished floors and gentle smiles, a silent storm raged. The couple at the center of this storm were Adana and her husband, Obi. To the world, they were perfect, two people bound by love, respect, and shared dreams. But in the privacy of their home, the cradle they had prepared remained empty, untouched, and painfully silent. At first, nobody noticed. But as the seasons turned and the years slipped by like water, the whispers began. It started as soft gossip behind folded wrappers, but soon grew bold in the marketplace. 10 years, they said, shaking their heads. 10 whole years, and not even a cry of a baby? Something is wrong somewhere. But the villagers did not know the depth of Adana's pain. She was not barren. No, far from it. She conceived multiple times. Each time brought a short-lived celebration. But exactly at the third month, like a clockwork curse, everything would vanish. The joy would crumble. The promise would dissolve. The heart would break again. And every time this tragedy struck, Adana had the same nightmare. In the dream, she stood before a large river, dark and swirling like a restless spirit. A clear glass bottle floated toward her, sealed tightly with a cork. Inside the bottle was a piece of raw, dark meat. Strange, throbbing, almost alive. The sight always filled her with a fear that crawled through her bones. And every time she woke from the dream, she discovered she had lost the baby. This cycle repeated itself again and again. The elders would say, when something repeats with the exactness of a drumbeat, it is not chance, it is a message. Adana and Obi knew they were no longer fighting a natural problem. Something deeper, older, and unseen was at work. Obi, a man known for his strength and clear mind, felt helpless. He could fix broken furniture, settle disputes, and provide for his home. But how does a man fight what he cannot touch? How does he battle a dream? He watched the light drain from his wife's eyes. He saw her withdraw from conversations, hide her tears, and carry a heaviness that was almost physical. In desperation, he decided they needed spiritual reinforcement. So they called their pastor, known across the region as a man of fire and deep insight. Their home became a battlefield of prayer. Early morning prayers, midnight vigils, fasting that stretched into weeks and months. Plates remained untouched while their spirits burned with determination. Their pastor prayed until his voice cracked like a dry stick. He paced their living room declaring, "What earthly blood cannot break, the blood of the Lamb will scatter into pieces." Adana clung to these words like a lifeline. Obi stood beside her like a shield. They fought. They believed. They refused to surrender. One morning, after months of intense spiritual warfare, their pastor received a quiet whisper from the Holy Spirit. Not fire, not thunder, not lightning, just a small, calm nudge that carried the weight of truth. He told Adana, "Your answer is not in the future. It is buried in your past. Go home. Go to your father. Ask him about the sealed thing, the covered thing, the bottle that holds your blessing." A chill swept over Adana. Her father? Papa James? The old man who raised her with tenderness and discipline? The man she trusted with her whole heart? Confusion warred with fear, but one thing was clear. When the root of a problem hides beneath the ground, you must dig, even if your fingers bleed. She and Obi prepared to travel to her father's village. Unknown to them, something was stirring in the quiet home of Papa James as well. That same night, while he slept on his humble raffia mat, Papa James had a dream so vivid that he woke up gasping for air. In it, he stood by a river. He held a bottle. A dark figure loomed beside him. He heard the desperate bleating of a goat. It was not imagination. It was memory. A memory he had buried 23 years ago. He sat up, trembling. Sweat drenched his clothes. He knew instantly, without anyone telling him, that the past had come calling. "Could it be?" he whispered, voice breaking. "Could the thing I did to protect my daughter be the reason for her suffering now?" His hand shook as he dialed Adana. "My child," he said, voice quivering. "Come home. Bring your husband. There is something I must confess, something too heavy for my old bones to carry anymore." When Adana and Obi arrived the next day, the village welcomed them warmly. But inside Papa James' sitting room, warmth had no seat. The air was thick, as though the walls themselves were waiting to hear the truth. Papa James looked much older than his years. He motioned for them to sit. His voice cracked as he began. "My children, for 23 years, I have carried a secret. I did something out of love mixed with fear, and it has returned to haunt us." He reminded Adana of her cousins, his brother's daughters, girls who became pregnant at 16, each one abandoned by irresponsible boys. The shame was unbearable, the pattern too consistent to be ordinary. Desperate, he and his brother visited a dark spiritualist deep inside a forbidden forest. The man revealed their family's ancient curse. A girl, long ago, was impregnated and abandoned by their ancestor. Her family placed a powerful curse. No girl from their bloodline would grow into adulthood without falling into shame. Papa James trembled as he spoke. "I could not allow that fate for you. You were too precious, too bright. So I begged the spiritualist for a solution. The man told him to bring a brand new bottle. On a moonless night, a young female goat was slaughtered. The spiritualist took the goat's reproductive flesh, placed it inside the bottle, and sealed it with wax and incantations. Then he threw the bottle into the deepest part of the river, saying, 'Her destiny is covered. Shame will never touch her.'" Papa James began to sob. "I did not know, Adana. I did not understand. While sealing away shame, I also sealed away your fruitfulness. That bottle, your dream, the meat, it is the very object I helped create." Adana felt her world tilt. 10 years of sorrow, 10 years of blame, 10 years of pain, and the key had been in her father's hand all along. But crying over what cannot be undone is wasted sorrow. Now that the hidden enemy had been exposed, they had to return to the path that had brought them this far. Faith. Adana, Obi, and Papa James prayed together, pouring out their hearts like water before God. Back in the city, Adana and Obi resumed their fasting with renewed fire. For 3 whole months, they prayed, battled, believed, and waited. Then, Adana conceived again.
They rejoiced cautiously. Days passed, weeks passed, but as the third month approached, the danger zone, Adana's heart thudded with tension. That night, the nightmare returned. The same river, the same bottle, the same evil meat. But this time, something changed.
As the bottle floated before her, a mighty light descended, brighter than anything she had ever seen. A huge, glorious hand reached out from heaven, lifted the bottle effortlessly, and opened it. The moment the cork came off, the dark meat dissolved into nothingness. Then 3 bright lights burst out, swirling like living stars, and flew straight into her. Adana woke up breathless, but this time with peace instead of sorrow. She knew, beyond a doubt, that the curse had been broken. The 4th month passed, then the 5th, the 6th. Her belly grew beautifully, round and full of promise. Finally, after 9 months, her labor pains began. The first cry broke through the air, a strong baby boy. Then came the second, a beautiful girl. And then the third, a healthy boy. Triplets! The very 3 lights she saw in her dream. The village erupted with joy. Papa James wept like a child as he held his grandchildren. The couple named them Chibwike, Adriel, and Osinachi. Their home, once filled with silence, now echoed with 3 tiny voices, proof that even a curse carved in darkness can be shattered by the hand of God. And so their story traveled from village to town, from whisper to testimony. No matter who sealed your destiny or how long the seal has lasted, when the mighty hand of the Lord moves, even the oldest curse must break, and blessings will overflow beyond measure.
This has been another story from African Folk Tales by Delight. If you enjoyed it, subscribe and share the tale. Let its message travel farther than the wind.